Hey everybody, I would like to stop saying, okay, I would like to share with you how I've created spreadsheets. Let's read okay. Good thing I get to edit this. Hey everybody, I have been struggling with the paradox of teach a man to fish, give a man to fish. I have really wanted to share with you the census record transcription spreadsheets that I've created. I found them to be really helpful in my projects, and I have decided to share with you how I've created them in the hopes that if it's something that you would like to use, that you can know how to do that and that it can become a great tool for you in your future research. So this is something that I've been doing as I do projects. So I only have the census records that I have needed so far, and as you can see, this is a blank one. I clear them out and save them for each project that I do. This is an example of the 1900 US federal census that I have transcribed for my project 3. As you can see up in the top, I have the document number, the name of the document, and I do note that it is a transcription so that when I cite this record or have it in my appendix that it says that it's a transcription and it's not an actual record. And then I've got the citation and the short citation, the location information that's on the header of the census, and then I just fill everything in. Well, that one's a little big. But I have filled this in, and what I used to create this off of actually came from Ancestry.com. I don't remember exactly where. I'd have to go and look. Hopefully I'll be able to find a link for you guys, but Ancestry.com actually has recreated census records, and so you can just click on any one and it will pop up a blank. And so if you're transcribing these by hand, this is a great tool for you too. Just go to Ancestry.com and look under their censuses, and they should have blank forms. They have them for the US, they have them for the UK and Canada, and you know, I pulled these 2 or 3 years ago, so hopefully they should still be there, but they probably have even more now. So we're going to look at the 1850 census because it's not one that I have yet, and it's pretty easy to create the spreadsheet for this one because there aren't a ton of boxes. So what I generally do is I just go in here. I'm going to go up to the beginning. Oh, I have the 1850. Well, I'll redo it anyway. I'll show you. And you insert, oops, oh, sorry, no, it's this button right here. So you create a new sheet, and then the first thing I do is I label it. So that way, if I have to walk away, then I know exactly what I'm working on. So I normally label it 1850 census, but I'm just going to do example for this one. Okay, so the first thing I know is I'm going to want this box right here. This section is going to be where I put my citation and document information. And so we're going to have that. The second row is where I put my title, and the third row is where I put the page number, state, county, city, enumeration, that kind of stuff. So if we look at the census record, I'll make it a little bit bigger here and zoom in a little bit. We have 13 columns. And so I know that this needs to be 13 wide. And then if you look at this, we've got, these are taller. You know, box number 3 is taller than box number 4, and there's a side or a title above it. So 4, 5, and 6 are all descriptions. So I know that I need to have my these boxes need to actually be 2 tall. So to start, we go into our spreadsheet and we know it's going to be 13. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I'm going to merge those. And that creates one big cell but keeps all the other cells smaller. I also want to change my font. Sorry, not quite prepared. Okay, so then I know my second row is going to be that same, so I can either highlight them and merge, or right click, format cells, and alignment and merge cells, or I can also just click on this corner and drag it down. So then I'm going to label it first before I really start doing. Again, you want to have things readily labeled because a lot of the censuses are similar and you don't want to get confused. Okay, and this one I know I'm going to want it centered and bold, and I'll make it bigger a little bit. This is my document number. And for my census records, for any transcriptions that I do, I always give it the same document number. So say this was document number 5, and then I do a 0.1 or a 0.2, depending on if it was 2 pages, so that if it's the one record, the first number in the document is always the same. That's just how I do it. So blank house, oops, I need house, hold, oops, and short. Okay. So, and this is another one I'm going to have it bold, and this one I'm actually going to have off to the side. And then this is where I'm going to put my page and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to need that right now. So we're going to talk about our columns. Now, we know they need to be 2 high, and we know that one in columns 4, 5, and 6, we're actually going to combine them over. So I know, and the top is going to be smaller, so I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, and I'm going to merge these 3 cells. These 3 are going to be the ones that are separate. So, oops, I didn't want to do that. Okay, so we're going to start right here, and cell 1, well here, let's do this. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 13. Okay, so I put my numbers in there just to kind of help see where things are, and I'm going to make them as small as I can because they don't need to be great big. Okay, so I normally start by doing what I've started doing here, by just giving my basic shape. So I know these 2 need to be merged, and actually the rest of them need to be merged. So I'm just going to hold on to that, and it will adjust it for me. So in cell 1, if we look at our thing, it says dwelling house number in the order of visitation. So I'm just going to go ahead and type that in. Okay, so we have 2 problems now. It's there, but it's not showing up. So since I have too many words for a straight line, I'm going to wrap my text. Now the other challenge I have is that in the census it's vertical, and I like to keep things as close as I can. And so you can do that two ways. The first way is if you have, just go to this AB and rotate text up. Okay, and you know, I'm still missing out here, so I can either make it bigger this way, I can make it bigger this way, which actually works out pretty okay to do that, or you can always go in and make the text smaller or whatever. So I'm going to do both actually. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller and make the box a little bit bigger. So now we're going to go ahead and do the next cell, which is families numbered in the order of visitation. So we'll just go back to our thing, spell everything right. And on we go. Again, we have that same problem. It needs to be wrapped, right? So everything needs to be wrapped up in this nice little package. So I'm going to hit wrapped text. Again, you can format cells and you can do wrapped text. And you can also change the alignment here. So now I've got it going on so that it's wrapped and it's I forgot a period apparently. Nothing doesn't happen. Okay, so but I want it to look nice. I'm going to be looking at this quite a lot, so I center it and I'm going to shrink it down to a 9. I want everything to match, so I'm actually going to go like this and change everything to a 9. Okay, so my next one is actually going to be a much bigger cell. If you look at this third one, it's pretty big because this is where we put their names. So we need to make sure that we have enough space to do that. And so I'm just going to change the size, and I'm just eyeballing it. It's not rocket science. It's just whatever works good and looks good for you. Okay, so I've got that typed up, and I always have my little typos. I'm not perfect. So I'm going to wrap it, center it, and I'm going to, oh, actually this one I don't want. I just want it centered, and shrink it down. So that's basically all you have to do. I'm going to go ahead and finish this real quick, just typing everything in, and then I can go ahead and show you how to make all the fun outlines. So I'll pause the video for just... Alrighty, we're back. So I've got all of my boxes filled in, and we're ready to go ahead and fill this in. Now, one thing I like to do, and I didn't do this before, is I like to add a row number, because then it helps me to quickly reference back to it or follow where I'm at. So if you want to go ahead and do that and you've already gotten this far, you just right click over your column and hit insert, and it will pop another one in. And I just make this nice and skinny and make the whole font as low as I can, and then I go generally from 1 to 30 or so. It depends on how many are on the census, and I can actually check on this one. So on the 1850 there's 42 lines. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to change my font back down to the smallest it goes, and I'm going to center it in there. Now, instead of typing 1 to 45, or whatever all the way. I'm just going to highlight those three and grab this corner, and it's actually going to populate it for me, and it will go down, and we can keep going. I'm just going to stop at 40 because I want to. So since that's not actually part of the census, I generally don't have that be outlined. And so we're just going to highlight the area we want outlined, and then we'll just click on this box here to place the grid. And oh, I forgot one. And you can do all borders, and I'll just fix that real quick. All borders. And then I like to have the whole thing with a thick border just around this portion. And then I also like to put this portion thick border. And there you go. Now I can just type in the number, dwelling 1, family 1, and keep going. So that is how you create it in a nutshell. And well, I'll show you one more thing real quick, and that is that how I like to save these when it's time to print. So what I do is I'll go, I like saving them as pictures, and partly you can save them as PDF, but I hit print to save it as a picture, and then I like to scale it so it fits on one page so that it's easy to go off of. And then I just go insert, screenshot, and I do a screen clipping of it, and then you can hit right click, so you're in here, click on the image, right click, and save picture as. This just makes it easier for me to insert it into my my project report. So, or the appendix of the report, at least. If it's in an image, then it's just a little bit easier to work with. So that is how you create a census template in Excel. I've done it for several censuses. It gets pretty, oh, I need to clean this one out. It gets pretty oh, these are my examples. Okay. It gets pretty in-depth, and then I also do it for other documents as well. Here's a pension index that I've done it for, and I just do my best to make it look exactly how the record looks, so that I just feel better about it that way. So there you go. Create census records, fill things in. It makes things really easy. Then you can go in and be like, well, I'm going to look at this one. I'm working on this particular individual. You can highlight it. Don't have to save it highlighted. You can just unhighlight it when you're done and move on. And then you're not making a bunch of hand scribbles, and it's just easy to read. So I hope this helps out somebody. If you have any more questions about how to create it, let me know. I would love I'm excited to share this with you guys, and hope that it is useful to you. Have a great day, and best of luck on your final projects.